lights a little bit, so hopefully they don't wash me out. So I hope everybody can see me. I'll check the video after class today. Hopefully it's all right. Just kind of pointed them up so I wasn't washed out. So we'll see how it looks. I can see myself on the screen, so hopefully you guys can see me. Let's start with some gentle hip warm-ups. We're going to bring the bottoms of the feet together. We're just going to lift and drop one knee at a time. Kind of allowing the knee to bounce without really controlling it too much. Just letting it fall one at a time. Nice gentle movement in the hip joint just to have a gentle warm-up today. Start to pick up your pace and just go side to side. Knees are still kind of bouncing. You're just letting them fall. Let's go for 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to bring one knee over to the other, open in the middle. Try to get the knees to actually touch so you get that full range of motion in the hip. And this one, I do like to kind of push my hands into the floor behind me, almost like lifting myself up slightly so that I don't move forward. And let's do a couple more slow, and then we'll pick up our pace. Let's start to go a little bit faster. Still try to get the knees to touch as best you can. And we'll go for another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring the left foot in front. We're going to grab the foot and the shin using your arms. Pull yourself forward, extending the spine. And then we're going to roll to the back of the sit bones, round the spine. Try to keep the collarbones wide, so don't allow that to happen. So pull those shoulders back. And again, inhale forward, exhale back. You might feel a nice little stretch in the back of the left hip as you come forward. 2 more times. 1 more time. We're going to dive over the legs and just start to straighten the spine, lengthening the crown of your head away from your tail. So now you're getting that deeper stretch into the back of the left hip. You might also feel a little stretch on the right hip also. And let's just do 2 deep breaths in and out here. We're going to restack our spine all the way back up against an imaginary wall, nice and tall. And let's take the right arm up and over, making sure that the hip doesn't come off, so anchor the hip down. Coming all the way back up, left arm up and over, nice opening through the side body today, it'll feel good. And all the way back up, we're going to take our left leg, turn it around the other way, and we're going to stretch over the legs. And then we're going to come on to the right forearm, stretch away. Same thing, even though this hip might not touch the mat, you do want to think about pushing it towards the floor as you stretch up and over. That way it opens up the side body more. And then we'll come up onto the right hand, pushing the hips up and forward for one of my favorite stretches, and back and down. So it really opens up through the hip, through the side body, and back and down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling up, exhaling down. 1 more time, inhaling up, exhaling down. Very nice job. Let's turn our left leg around, and we'll bring the right leg in front, starting from our extensions and flexion through the spine. Grab the foot and the shin, pull yourself forward, and exhale, roll to the back of the sit bones around the spine. Inhale forward, exhale back. Let's do that 3 more times. And again, as you're pulling yourself forward, you might feel stretch in the back of the right hip. 2 more. 1 more. We're going to dive over the legs. Start to straighten the spine, lengthening the crown of your head away from the tail. So we end up getting that deepened stretch in the back of the right hip. You may also feel a little stretch in the left hip. Deep breath in. Exhale. 1 more deep breath in. Exhale, restack the spine, tail to head. And just allow that stretch through the postural muscles, through your spine, into your neck. Nice tall spine at the top. We're going to take the left arm up and over. Again, making sure the hip doesn't come up. And coming back to center, right arm up and over. Big side stretch this morning. And all the way up. We're going to take our right leg, turn it around the other way, stretch over the legs. Coming down onto the forearm, remember we want to keep this hip close to the mat as you reach up and over. Really send the ribs up to the ceiling here. We're going to come up onto the right hand, sorry, your left hand. We're going to push the hips up and forward. Nice big stretch through the hip, through the side body. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhaling up, exhaling down. 2 more. 1 more time. Excellent job, everybody. Let's go ahead and turn and face our mat. We're going to start with a nice stretch forward. We're going to start with our roll-ups today. So flexing the feet, we're going to take the arms and reach past the feet. Just allow the body to kind of rest down, shoulders down. Breathe. You might feel a nice stretch in the backs of the legs because your feet are flexed, and also through the spine, upper middle part of your back. You're kind of rounding your body over the legs. 1 more deep breath in and out. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and on our exhale, we're going to lead back with the pubic bone and start to roll down 1 bone at a time. Keep holding the shoulders down towards the hips. And allow your body to stretch over the mat. We're going to point the toes, reach the arms overhead, and just think about pressing your body into the floor. Arms come up, tuck chin and chest. We're going to roll all the way up, flex the feet, big stretch forward again. And we're going to do this 5 more times, so just taking our time, using our breath. Remember, the breathing never stops. Inhale, stretching. Exhale, rolling. Inhale, stretching. Exhale, rolling up. Three more. More. It's just a nice way to really get the body warmed up, get your core warmed up. Also adding that stretch through the body on the way up and down. I just love the roll-ups. 1 more time. Now we're going to end up restacking the spine all the way back up. Keep the feet flexed. And if your hamstrings are a little tight and they kind of pull you into this type of position where you can't quite be on your sit bones, just bend the knees a little bit here so that you can find the sharpest points of your sit bones and stack the shoulders over the hips. We're going to do a little spinal twist exercise, making a genie arm. Pull the shoulders back and down. Make sure your ribs are also melting down. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and on your exhale, rotate to the left. Inhaling back through center. Exhale, rotate to your right. Inhaling back through center. Remember, we want that twist always to come from our ribs. Inhale back to center. And to the right. Equal weight on your sit bones. Inhale back to center. Let's go ahead and take the arms out to the letter T. Same thing, but we're going to add 3 pulses during our twist. So exhale, twist to the left, and then we're going to do 3 little pulses. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale through center. Exhale to the right. Think about getting a little taller and pulse. 1, 2, 3. Inhale through center. 1 more each way. You can go farther, farther, farther into your twist, and then come back through center. Last time to your right. Inhale through center. And we're going to bend our knees, toes facing up. Again, find the sharpest points of the sit bones. We're going to take our arms in front of us, shoulders down, and then we're going to tuck chin and chest
And just imagine a ball between your chest and your thighs. So you're going to round over that ball. Really pull in through those low abs to round the lower back. So we want to basically be in our C curve here. Keep the shoulders down, maintain your C curve, and try to keep your biceps by your ears. And we're going to hinge back from the hips on our inhale, and then exhale, come back forward. So we just want to maintain our C curve as we lean back, hinging from the hip, but the spine stays in your C curve. If you keep the biceps by your ears, it will make it a little more difficult for the core. 5 more. 4 more. Really pull those abs up and in. 3 more. Shoulders down. 2 more. 1 more. Now we're going to hinge back, stay, lift your gaze a little bit and start to circle those arms for 4. 3, so we're maintaining our C curve, keeping those shoulders anchored down. Reverse it for 4. 3, so the only thing moving is the arms. 2. 1, dive over the legs. When you feel the sharpest points of your sits bones, go ahead and restack your spine all the way back up on top of them. We're going to bend the elbows, lean back on our forearms. Push the shoulders away from your ears. So push the shoulders towards the floor. Now we're going to bring one leg to tabletop and then the other. Keep lifting the chest. Back is nice and straight here. And we're going to do our single leg stretch. Let's start by switching on each breath. If you want to go a little bit lower and challenge your core, you can. We're going to double time it, so we're going to switch 2 times for each breath. Remember, you want those long legs, so imagine hitting a bullseye with the toes. We'll go 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring both legs in. You're going to reach out on your inhale. Keep pulling in through those abs. Lift your heart. Exhale, pull your knees back in. 7 more. Really connect the legs. 6, 5. So deepen that contraction through your core as your knees come in. You're just going to hold that as you inhale and reach your legs out. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. We're going to go ahead and extend our legs down to the bottom corners of the mat. Flex the feet. Use your hands to kind of push yourself up back into your stretch forward. And you can move around a little bit, really stretch out the spine. And then on your next exhale, we're going to scoop and roll back 1 bone at a time. Keep flexing your feet. Send those heels in the opposite direction of where you're rolling back. I'm just going to move up on my mat a little bit. We're going to bring our legs in hip width apart and start our single leg circles. So take the arms out to the letter T, palms facing down. Make sure your arms are way up above your shoulders. You want them just right out to the side. And we're going to take our right leg up without changing the left leg. Cross your midline. Your right hip comes off, but not the shoulder blade. Circle down. And remember, we want to keep reaching through that left leg as your right leg goes out to the side and up, because that's going to keep that left hip on the mat. Inhale. And exhale. Half the circle, inhale. The other half, exhale. We start to feel that nice work through our inner thighs. And really reach through your leg. Like you're trying to touch the walls and the ceiling. 3 more this direction. 2. These just feel good. They're great for your core, but then you get that really nice motion through your hip joint. We're going to reverse it. Keep reaching through the leg that's on the mat as your leg goes out to the side, down. Cross your midline. Hip comes off, but not the shoulder. And then we're going to pull the hip onto the mat. The leg just follows. Inhale and exhale. Just remember that leg that's on the floor, you don't want it to change. So it might roll a little bit as your leg crosses your midline, but it stays put. Let's do 3 more this direction. 2 more. Last time. We're going to hug the knee in and just kind of center your hips on the mat. We're going to bring our right hand to the ankle. Your left hand's going to go to the inside of the knee. And you're just touching the legs. You're not pulling, we're just touching. Tuck chin and chest, curl up into your ab prep, lift the left leg into a little hover. Make sure you have that little teacup on your pelvis. It's going to be balanced, so a little imaginary teacup that you're balancing. And we're going to switch the legs as we switch the arms. So the outside arm is going to just touch the ankle, and the opposite arm is going to touch the inside of the knee. Inhale, exhale. There are single leg stretches, but in a curl. 3 more sets. 2, 1. And just hug the knees in. Roll side to side. If you feel a little tension in your neck, you can also roll your head side to side. Deep breathing in and out. All right, we're going to go to the other side. So the right leg is going to reach along the floor. Try to get that leg to be right in alignment with your hip bone. Arms out to the side, palms face down. Reach the left leg up. Cross your midline. The hip comes off, but not the shoulder blade. Circle down. As your leg goes out to the side, keep reaching through the right leg so that the right hip stays on the floor. Inhale for half your circle. Exhale for the other half, and really stretch through that leg. Try to touch the walls and the ceiling. That's how long you want your leg to be. 4 more times. 3, 2, 1. We're going to end with our leg up, and let's reverse it. So remember, keep reaching through this leg to keep this hip on the mat. We're going to go out to the side, down, cross the midline. Hip comes off, not the shoulder blade. Now just pull the hip back. The leg follows. Inhale and exhale. And it's actually the obliques that you're using to pull the hip back. Really working through the core. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. We're going to hug this knee in. Just give it a nice little hug. And kind of centering the hips on your mat, we're going to bring our right leg also up. Now we are going to work in neutral again, so just bring your knees out enough where you can have that little space open between the low back and the mat. It's only big enough where you're going to keep that little teacup balance right on your pelvis. You don't want it tipping towards you, and you definitely don't want it tipping away. Hands right above the knees. We're going to tuck chin to chest, and then use our upper abs to come up into our ab prep, keeping your teacup balanced. Double leg straight stretch. Inhale, legs go out, arms go up, and exhale, circle the arms as you pull the knees back in. Inhale, exhale. Now I'm going pretty low, but you can reach up a little bit more, and that way the weight of your legs isn't as heavy. Our goal is to keep curled and keep that little teacup balanced on the pelvis. Let's do 3 more together. 2 more. 1 more. And rest. Roll your body side to side. If you feel any tension in your neck, feel free to roll your head side to side also. Let's just do a few deep breaths in and out. Then we're going to go ahead and come to center, bringing our feet onto the mat, feet flat. And let's walk our feet in a little bit towards our bottom. We're going to go into some bridging. Let's take the arms overhead. Remember, you want the back of your ribs on the mat, so we want the rib cage in neutral. So ribs are drawing down, and your shoulder blades are also on the floor. Deep breath in to prepare. On your exhale, tip that imaginary teacup so it spills towards your belly button. So you're going into imprint. We're going to peel the spine off the mat as we bring our arms down to our side. When you reach the top, think about your glutes squeezing and your heart softening. On your next exhale, let's soften through the heart and roll down one bone at a time. Inhale, prepare. Find that neutral placement through the pelvis. Exhale, imprint, rolling back up as we bring our arms to our side. Inhale, stay. Let your head lengthen away as you exhale. Roll back down. Reach those arms overhead. 2 more times together. Now we're going to go ahead and imprint, roll back up into our bridge. And let's take that right leg up to the ceiling. Keep pressing the back of the arms into the mat. Make sure the right hip is lifted so it's parallel to the left. We're going to only do 4, so go slow. Flex the foot. You're going to lower the leg by reaching through the heel just so your thighs are parallel. Point the toe. We're going to lift back up. 3 more. Flex and lower. Keep that hip lifted. Point and lift. 2 more, nice and slow. 1 more. We're going to bend the knee, replace the foot on the mat, and let's go right to the left side. So again, you want this hip lifted so it's parallel to the right. We're only going to do 4, so go slow. Flex the foot, reach to the heel, lowering the leg till your thighs are parallel. Keep the left hip up. Point the toe, exhale, lift it back up. Inhale, flex and lower. Exhale, point and lift. 2 more, nice and slow. 1 more. Let's bend the knee, replace the foot on the mat, and just center your weight in your feet and your hips. And then on our next exhale, we'll soften, roll down, reach the arms overhead. We're going to take our arms down to our side. Cross the right ankle just over the left knee and bring your hands on your hips for a moment. So as you turn the right knee out, your right hip bone is still parallel to the left. So as you turn it out, you want to resist it kind of sinking towards the floor. You want to also resist that left hip coming up. We want those hips parallel to each other. You can turn out as much as you can keep that. We're going to bring our arms down to our side once you feel comfortable. And we're going to do single hip lifts with the left leg. So here we go, pressing straight up, right hip, left hip parallel, and lower straight down. Exhale up, inhale down. We'll kind of take them slow today. Exhale up, inhale down. Exhale, press. Inhale down. So really focus on that left glute, squeezing to lift the hips up. 5 more. 4 more. Relax any tension in the neck, shoulders, and face. 3 more. I'm coming all the way down onto the mat. 2 more. And 1 more time. And lower down. Very nice. So just doing them slower kind of works on your endurance a little bit more. You know, a lot of times we do them kind of fast, which is good too because it gets your fast twitch muscles to engage. But going slow, it just kind of feels a little different and you get to really work on your position. So let's go ahead and cross the left ankle over the right knee. Put your hands on your hip bones, make sure they're parallel. So make sure also I have a tendency to kind of drop my left hip. So I'm going to kind of pick that left hip up a little bit so that my hip bones are parallel and in the same plane with one another. And then here we go. Let's do that same thing on the right. Exhale up. You check your hips at the top real quick. Once you have that feeling in your body, you can bring your arms down to your side. Inhale down. Again, exhale up. Inhale down. So we're kind of using that longer breath so that our movement is a little slower today. Just really focus on that right glute. pressing up so that the hip opens. 5 more times. 4, squeeze. 3, press. 2, 1 more time. And we're going to lower back down. And then go ahead and uncross the legs. Now we're going to bring our legs, our feet, I should say, into a Pilates V. So your heels are together, toes are apart, excuse me, which means your knees are slightly open. So the feet and the knees are looking like the letter V. Now in this position, we're going to lift our heels up in high half toe. You can bring your feet in a little closer to your body. And we're going to do hip presses with our heels lifted and legs in our Pilates V. And we're going to do that slow movement. So here we go. Exhale up. Just opening up the front of the hip. Make sure the ribs are down. Inhale down. Exhale straight up. Focus on squeezing. Inhale straight down. Exhale up. So full breath. 7 more. Try not to favor one side, so equal squeeze, equal weight in the feet. 5 more. 4 more. 3. 2 more times. 1 more. And lower down. Now we're going to pick up our pace. Stay in your Pilates V. I want you to engage through your core. So you're going to think about your hip bones pulling together. We're going to lift our legs. We're going to go into 100s now. So tucking chin to chest, we're going to curl up. Your legs are still in that V shape. If you want, go ahead and send the legs out. Squeeze the back of the legs together. Start to pump the arms. Inhale. Exhale, think navel to spine. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. Teacup is balanced. Inhale. Exhale. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 40. Squeeze the legs together. 50. 60. 70. 80. So your belly sink down on your exhales. 90. 100 and rest. Just hug the knees in. And let's go ahead and roll our bodies side to side again. Nice deep breaths in and out. We're going to go ahead and place our feet on the mat again, but we're going to go bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. We're going to bring our hands behind the head at the base of the skull. Try to maintain the neutral pelvis. It's okay if you kind of tuck under a little bit and go more into an imprint, especially as the exercise is going to get a little bit harder. So letting the head rest in the hands, elbows are going to look slightly up. We're going to curl up using those upper abs and back down 8 times. 7, 6, 5, 4. Little lift in the pelvic floor. 2 more. 1 more. Now you can feel free to keep the feet here. We're going to do 8 more sets, or we're going to hover the feet. So go ahead and lift, and here we go. 8, 7, 6. So definitely a little harder when your feet are in that hover. 4, 3, belly in, 2, 1, and rest. Whew, that's a lot of work for the core. Go ahead and reach your legs down, open them as wide as your mat. We'll take the arms overhead. You can let your ribs flare. Just stretch that out real quick. Deep breath in and out. 1 more deep breath in, and on your exhale, just kind of soften your body back onto the mat. We're going to bring our legs together, arms to the side, And then we're gonna bring one leg to tabletop at a time. Let's cross the ankles and go into an imprinted position. Shoulders and head are gonna stay relaxed on the floor, and we're gonna do 10 hip rolls. So think knees to shoulders and then roll back down. And it doesn't have to be a big movement. Even if it's small like that, that's fine. So just kind of roll up onto the spine as far as your body will allow you. Just make sure that you're stopping right at your shoulder blades so that you don't roll onto your neck. You're gonna come right to like where your bridge, shoulder bridge would be. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. And just hug the knees in, take a little breather. We're gonna repeat it, but I'm gonna make it a little more challenging for those of you who want it, and we'll go into some jackknives. If jackknives are a little too tough, go ahead and stick with the hip lifts and keep working on those because you're getting the same motion and the same work through your low abs to build up strength in order to do jackknife. So we're gonna take our arms to our side, legs come up. For those of you who wanna stick with the hip rolls, jackknives, we're gonna reach our legs up to the ceiling. You're in imprint. And we're gonna think about our legs going up to go over. You're gonna balance right on your shoulder blades. You're gonna think bottom of the ribs to the hips. And then we're gonna take our legs up, just engage the glutes, but keep curling through the spine. So I'm pulling my abs back as I open up my hip. And then we're gonna soften and roll down 1 bone at a time, allowing the head to lengthen away from the shoulders. Today we'll stop with our legs straight up to make it a little harder. And then we're gonna reach up, roll over, balance, send the legs up, curl deeper, lower down bone by bone, press those shoulder blades onto the floor, and end with your legs straight up. Let's do 1 more jackknife. Lift up to go over, balance, reach up, only as far as you can keep your balance, and then we'll lower down bone by bone. Once we're down on the floor, we're all gonna meet in imprint with our legs straight up to the ceiling for corkscrew. So we're gonna let our legs go over to the left. Your right hip stays on the mat, so the right leg's gonna get shorter. We're gonna do an oval down. As you go to the other side, the left hip, you want it to stay on the mat, so the left leg's gonna get shorter. And then we end with the legs in center. Let's reverse it. To the right, left leg gets shorter. Do your oval down to the other side. Keep that left hip, right hip on the mat, and back to center. So we're just getting a little abduction and adduction in the legs. Your hips don't move. Let's do 2 more. Inhale for half that oval. Exhale for the other half. 1 more. And just give the knees a little hug in towards your body. Roll side to side. Deep breath in and out. Let's do a nice little hip opener stretch before we do some sideline series. So let's open the knees. Grab the bottoms of your feet. Knees are wide. I want you to press your feet into your hands and at the same time press your hands into your feet. Shoulders against the mat. Tailbone against the mat, and then just allow the hips to open. Deep breathing in and out. Maybe close the eyes for a moment. Little happy baby stretch from yoga. 1 more time. And then let's release it. Bend the knees, bring the legs together. We're gonna roll onto the left side. We're gonna lie down all the way on the bottom arm and just line your whole body up with the front edge of the mat. Now our top hand, you can use it to be in front of you to act like a little kickstand, right? So that way your hips aren't gonna roll around. It's gonna kind of help you with your balance. We're gonna reach through both legs and lift them up into like a little hover. Now those of you who feel pretty confident with the balance here, Let's go ahead and challenge ourselves, and we're gonna bring our arms overhead. Remember, you can always put your hand down again if you're feeling your hips wobbling. Keeping our little mouse house, we're gonna take our top leg, lift and lower it 10 times. 9, 8, exhale, inhale, 7. Keep reaching through your bottom leg. That's going to help you with your balance. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to lift the top leg just hip width. Now this one gets a little tricky. You want to keep reaching through your bottom leg. So think about it getting longer, and you're going to squeeze from right here. You're going to lift it up, up. And you don't want your hips or your body to change. So if you feel like you're really like kind of, what's the word, struggling, everything's tightening like in through here in the shoulders, as you're lifting your leg, just bring your top hand down to help you with your balance here. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2. Now we're going to go into a stagger. So both legs are going to hover. Keep stretching them away from you. Top leg lifts, bottom leg lifts, lower both. Lift, lift, and you're just lowering into a hover. You're not actually relaxing onto the floor. Lift, lift, hover. Keep your mouse house the same. 4 more. 4, 3. Ooh, I'm feeling the hips and the inner thighs. 1 more time. We're going to keep both legs glued together. Little lifts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest. Just bend the knees. And I'm just going to explain something really fast. In that last one, as you're doing that lift and lower, so we're kind of doing the same motion, the hip joint that you would do for your corkscrew. So if you watch my feet real fast, you'll see how my bottom leg gets a little shorter as I lift, and then it's the reverse as I lower, right? Because my hips are staying the same. If I don't do that, look what happens through my mouse house, right? So we want to resist that. So again, it's the same motion in the hip joint. So this leg is coming up, this leg is going in, and then it's the reverse as you go down. Same thing in corkscrew. So just wanted to kind of connect that in your brains for a little bit. Sometimes it's fun to see similar movements in different exercises, and they just kind of feel different because of your position. We're going to do 10 clamshells, so lifting our feet up. Let's place our top hand on our hip to make sure that hip doesn't roll forward or back. And we're going to do our 10 clamshells. Just squeeze. Exhale and inhale. 5 more times. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Lower the knee, lower the feet, and we're going to go ahead and roll onto our stomach. You're going to make a pillow with your hands resting your forehead on that pillow. We're going to keep the tops of the feet on the mat and lengthen the tailbone down to the heels, and then straighten the knees so the knees come off. And you are going to feel your core engaged because of that lengthening the tailbone down to the heels. Now keeping the hip bones on the mat, we're just going to take that left leg and lift it up and down 10 times. So again, we're just lifting through the glute. You might even feel a little bit of work through your hamstring. But this hip is going to stay on the floor. 4 more. 4. Squeeze. 3. Nice long leg. 2. 1. Let's switch legs. Right and down. Squeeze and down. Tailbone stays lengthened, and both hip bones are staying even on the mat. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now from here, we're going to keep lengthening the tailbone down, and you're going to lift both legs up, without allowing your belly to kind of push into the floor. And we're going to lower back down into a hover, and we're going to do that 9 more times. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, stretch them away. 3, keep them in parallel. 2, 1. We're going to lower the legs, open the legs a little wider, and turn out. And then we're going to bend our knees and bring our heels together, flexing the feet. Lengthen the tailbone to the heels, and we're going to lift those thighs off the mat. 10, 9, squeeze, 8, keep the heels together, 7, 6, nice and slow today, 5, 4, 3, 2, you're going to feel your glutes working, 1. And we're going to lower the feet. Go ahead and push yourself into a shell stretch. You can have your knees wide if that feels good for you, or together. We're going to rest our body over the legs, resting the top part of the forehead on the floor. Now let's just take 2 deep breaths in and out. Let's go ahead and restack our spine. Nice and tall. Excellent job, everybody. Let's do the other side. So we're going to lie down on the right side. Line the body up with the edge of your mat, the front edge. And then we want to keep our mouse house the same. So creating that little space here. Just a little lift through the bottom obliques. And we're going to keep our top hand in front of us to help with the balance. You start to feel your hips kind of wobbling around like this. Just bring this hand down. We're going to reach through both legs to bring the legs up into a little hover. And then once you're there, if you want to try to add a little challenge for your balance, go ahead and take that arm overhead. Top leg, we're going to lift and lower for 10. Exhale, inhale, 9. 8, 7, 6. This side's a little harder for me to balance, so you guys might also feel a little different. 5, maybe it'll be easier for you. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to take our top leg, lift it up. Now bottom leg, you're going to lift it right from here. So we're going to squeeze up 1, 2. You're just lowering it back into the hover. Don't rest. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to lower both legs into a hover. We're going to do our stagger. Top leg lifts, bottom leg lifts, hover both. Lift, lift, hover. Lift, lift, hover. So remember, you don't want your body to change. It's just the legs moving from the hip joint. 4 more. You start to feel wobbly, bring that top hand down. 2 more. Last one. Both legs lift. So remember, our legs are changing length. As we lift, the bottom leg will get a little shorter. As we lower, the top leg will get a little shorter. So that way your body doesn't move. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's bring our hand down. If it's overhead, bend the knees and just rest. I hope you guys can kind of feel that on that side after kind of explaining how it's very similar to corkscrew. So we're going to keep our mouse house. Lift the feet. Take your top hand onto your hip to make sure that top hip isn't rolling forward. And we're going to take that top leg and rotate up and back down 10 times. 9, just squeezing those lateral rotators. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 more. Last time. And we're going to lower the feet and roll onto our stomach. We're going to make our pillow and rest our forehead on our pillow. Tops of the feet on the mat, hip width apart. Lengthen the tailbone to the heels, straighten the knees. And we're just gonna pick up the head and the chest a little bit. In this position, you wanna lengthen down through the tailbone a little more. And then we're gonna pick our pillow up, bringing it back up to our forehead without the feet coming off the floor. You're gonna really think about your belly pulling up. Make sure you're not pushing out. Everything pulls up, 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 up. And then on our next exhale, let's lower back down. Let's do that one more time, picking up just the head and the chest. Pull the belly up more, lengthen the tailbone more. Lift your pillow. Now you feel all that work in your core and your back. And then we're gonna lower back down. Now let's go ahead and lift everything up. Inhale up, except for the feet. Exhale down. Inhale, everything lifts except the feet. So even the belly lifts. Inhale down. Sorry, exhale down. Inhale up 2 more times. 1 more, we're gonna stay. Slide the fingertips to the top of the shoulders. I want you to pinch your shoulders back. If you're trying to touch your elbows, lift the belly a little bit more. Make sure the back of your neck is long. We're gonna do little pulses up, up, up. The belly lifts up, pulls up more each time you lift. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna lower down and press ourselves into a nice shell stretch again. Your knees can be wide or together. And we're gonna rest down over the legs, resting the top of the forehead on the floor. Into a nice shell stretch for 2 deep breaths in and out. We're gonna restack our spine all the way back up. Nice and tall. Head is the last thing to lift. Very nice. Let's go ahead and cross the ankles. We're going to roll over the feet and the knees. I'm just going to scoot up on my mat. Make sure you have some room to roll back because we're going to do some seal. So we're going to bring our arms to the inside of the legs. Hands are going to wrap around the ankles so that your ankles are resting in your hands. Now you want to be right to the back of the sit bones for seal. And my elbows are kind of notched against my inner thigh, kind of near my knee. My legs are pretty relaxed here. Shoulders down. I'm going to look down at my pubic bone or my belly button, and I'm going to use that extra 1-inch scoop that we practice to roll back a little bit, basically deepening my imprint. And I'm going to take that and roll back and up. If you get stuck, just use a little momentum to come back up. And it's real similar to our hip rolls and our shoulder bridges, because when you roll back, you don't want to go onto your neck. So you're going to stop right at your shoulder blades. Keep looking at your belly button. Exhale back, quick little inhale. Exhale up. You want to try to add those 3 toe taps on the way down and back. You can. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Almost didn't make up on that last one. All right. We're going to go ahead and bend the knees. Sometimes like when that happens, though. Then you guys get to see that I'm human too, like in Friday's video. That was a tough one. Sit up nice and tall, right onto the sit bones. We're going to reach our arms up, palms up, shoulders down, stack your spine. We're going to take the arms overhead and then scoop and roll back, floating our arms back down to our side. We're just going to do a couple of these teaser preps. Exhale, rolling back up. Inhale, stacking the spine, arms go up. Exhale, scoop and roll back. Make sure those knees are hip width apart. You can always grab the backs of your legs if you need to. Exhale, rolling up. Inhale, stack the spine. Exhale, rolling back. Let's do this 1 more time. Very nice job. We're going to bring the bottoms of the feet together, knees wide, and my feet are still pretty far away from me. We're going to stay in this little butterfly or lotus position as we do 3 roll-ups. So taking the arms overhead, press the body into the mat. Arms come up, tuck chin and chest. Lengthen your tailbone to your heels, and exhale, come all the way up and over into our little butterfly stretch. And then scoop and roll back. Remember, we want to lead back through the pubic bone. Shoulders stay down. Try to keep the knees open. 2 more. One more time. Excellent job, everybody. We're going to go ahead and bring our legs together and roll onto your left side. So the first thing we're going to do is a little leg stretch. You can rest your forehead on your arm. We're going to bend our bottom knee and then take your top knee up towards your shoulder, grabbing any part of your leg where you know you're going to be able to stretch it. You can, if you have a band close by, you can also put a band around your foot to give you a little bit more range so that you can extend your leg all the way. So we don't have to really worry about our mouse house here. You can just kind of relax. Try to keep this hip from rolling back though. So we're gonna try to keep that hip forward. Let's go ahead and just take our leg up. Breathe. Even bend your bottom knee more if you need a little bit more stability. And think about this hip rolling under. So make sure it's not like that. I'm gonna roll it under this way. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that. Just a few more deep breaths in and out. Go ahead and flex the foot if you can, if it's not already. A couple deep breaths in and out. And we're going to go ahead and release that, just bending that top leg so it's stacked onto the bottom leg. We're going to bend the elbows and bring our hands to the side of our head. And I want your head actually resting on the bottom hand on the mat. Bottom hand is on the mat, head is in your hand. There we go. We're going to take that top arm, your right arm, you're going to rotate up to the ceiling. Try to keep your hip from moving back. And then exhale back in. This will just give you a really nice stretch. Inhale back. Exhale in. Little rotation through the spine and opening up the chest. Kind of cooling down the body. Let's do it 2 more times. One more. We're going to hold this one back. Just take that top arm and reach it behind you. Bring the arm a little lower than your shoulder, palm faces up. And that way you might even feel a stretch in your pec and maybe even into your bicep. Couple more deep breaths in and out. You're going to bend the elbow. Make sure that elbow is beneath your shoulder so the shoulder's down. And just let gravity and the weight of your arm kind of stretch out your pec and into the shoulder a little bit more. 2 more deep breaths in and out. We're going to slowly bring that hand back to our head and rotate back to center. Let's go ahead and push ourselves all the way up and we'll do the other side. So the first one, we're going to bend our knee. You can bend it as far as you need to. Collapse your mouse house. You don't have to be engaged. You can just kind of be relaxed. We're going to grab to the inside. Grab your band if you have one close. And we're going to take the leg up. Now remember, you want this hip to not be here, so we're going to roll the hip under in order to stretch the inner thigh. And just breathe. Flex the foot if it's not already. Go ahead and release it. Bring that knee down to the bottom knee. We're going to bend our elbows, taking our hands to the sides of our heads. So the elbows are looking straight ahead. And then your head is resting in your bottom hand, and your bottom hand is on the floor. We're going to take our top arm up. Your head goes with you, so just kind of looking where you're going, but your head's still on the floor. And then exhale back to center. Get this really nice twist through the spine. We're just letting gravity take us. 3 more times. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. One more time. We're going to stay. Take your arm. Just extend it, making sure your hand is below your shoulder. Just kind of rest back on the mat so you feel that nice stretch through the pec, into the shoulder, maybe even into your bicep. Try to keep this top hip forward. One more deep breath in and out. All you're going to do is bend your elbow. So hopefully you guys can kind of see that. I'll turn a little bit. So that's what my hand looks like. My elbow's beneath my shoulder, and I'm just letting gravity and the weight of my arms stretch my pec and my shoulder a little deeper. My hand is not touching the mat, nor is my elbow. One more deep breath in and out. And then we're going to come back to center. And then push yourself all the way up into a quadruped position. And let's stretch out our hip flexors. So left foot comes forward. And we're going to bring that right hip open. Bring it forward. So you get this nice stretch in your right hip flexor. Fingertips on the mat. Lift the heart up a little bit. Deep breath in and out. One more deep breath in and out. We're just kind of holding today. And you can bring your hands down onto the mat a little bit more as you slide your left leg back. We'll step the right foot through. And again, just kind of making sure that right foot is beneath the knee, opening up through that left hip. Coming up onto the fingertips, lift your heart. Make sure this knee isn't going out to the side somewhere. Try to keep it right in alignment with your hip. Just deep breathing in and out. Shoulders back. Let's go ahead and bring our hands down. We're going to slide the right leg back. And we're going to have a seat. And let's do a straddle stretch today. I haven't done a lot of straddle stretches in a while. So just open up the feet and you can kind of move your hips forward. You want to feel that nice stretch through the inner thighs, your adductors. Nice and tall through your spine. If this is enough, stay here. Or if you want to try to go a little deeper, just keeping your heart lifted, we'll slowly walk our hands out. You do want to keep your legs turned out. So knees and feet are pointing straight up. Resist them kind of looking down or inward. We're just going to breathe, maybe close the eyes. If it feels a little too intense, just back off a little bit. Deep breaths in and out. You can also kind of do this motion where you're thinking about arching your back. If you guys remember my ballet stretches, where we arch and then round. So I'm kind of like doing a little bit more of like just a gentle arch. It's like very small. I don't even know if you'd be able to see it. But when I do that, it deepens that stretch through my inner thighs. So you can kind of play around with that too. And then we'll just kind of hold it. And let's just do a quick walk over to the inside of the left leg, and you're going to rest down. We get a nice stretch through the right side of our spine into the low back. Anchoring that right hip on the mat so that you can feel that. Shoulders down. And then let's gently walk through center. And we'll do that on the other side. Just walking to the inside of the right leg. I like to kind of grab my right arm with my left. And that just kind of deepens this for me. And that way I can really relax down. Making sure that left hip is on the mat so that you feel that stretch in the deep low back on your left. Keep breathing in and out. And then let's go ahead and walk to center. And you might even be able to get down a little bit lower just from doing that. And then we're going to slowly just walk our hands up if you were down. Coming all the way back up, nice and slow, so we kind of keep that stretch in our body. The best way to come out of this is to grab underneath the knees and actually use your arms and kind of like tip back a little bit onto the back of the sit bones and slide your legs in. And we just give them a little shake out. It's a nice way to come out of it. It's very gentle. Sometimes it can feel really weird to engage those muscles after they've been stretching and lengthening. Wonderful class, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I think today's class was a nice pace. Definitely good for intermediate beginner. Of course,